to my channel. It's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and happy 9th of December to everybody. So what I thought I'd do this time is I'd zoom out just a little bit while diamond painting. I know you do get to see more when I'm zoomed in, but I just thought we'd change it up for a day. But anyway, we're on number 9, of course, because it is the 9th of December, and I thought this will just give you an opportunity to see me working from my little pots and stuff. This is the top tray. You can see it in my kitting up video, but this is just sort of the top section of a tray I got from CES Deals in a case, and these just have the little pots, which is perfect for this size painting. I do have 2 little diamonds over here. I've had two AB diamonds that have escaped, so if you see me dip over here, it's because I'm filling those in. But so we're going to start with number 6, which is 699. I've just numbered them all by DMC. I used to cross stitch a lot. I still have some cross stitch, but I used to do it a lot when the children were younger. It was something I could do at an evening and pack away easily. Diamond painting wasn't about then, so I used to cross stitch quite a lot. So I automatically tend to go by DMC number. It's just a habit that I've got into. I have occasionally labelled up my pots according to the symbol, especially if you have a diamond painting from Home Fun or Disc Paint. I think Disc Paint is sort of Home Fun, same but different, on AliExpress, because they use primarily, unless you have too many colours, but their go-to symbols are letters and numbers. So I have numbered up one by symbol before from them, because it's very easy to label theirs up by symbol. But yeah, I tend to gravitate towards the DMC numbers. It's different for everybody, and you do what works for you. But anyway, that's my little bit of a explanation behind how I do it, and I'm sort of placing my rounds. I like to pay attention when I'm sort of doing a new edge, but then I try and sort of butt them up to the next one, and if you've got a good round diamond painting, you tend to find that the diamonds do still butt up to each other. So that's what I'm doing. And then I have been asking the last couple of days, I've just got a bit of excess pink wax, what sort of topics to discuss. I've got quite a few days left, and sometimes it's hard to think of a topic to discuss, but I have had a few responses at the time of making this video, and there's been quite a few questions over the likes of the holidays, the fact that it's Christmas, which is fair enough because it is a Christmas advent calendar. So people have asked whether it is my favourite holiday, and if not, what is your favourite holiday? Christmas is my favourite holiday. Don't tend to celebrate or go big on any other holiday. We do have Easter, you know, the kids love Easter eggs, but they're all older now. There's no big party with an Easter egg hunt or anything like that. Halloween, it's something that's starting to get bigger in the UK, but I don't think it's never really been a big holiday in either myself or my husband's upbringing, and therefore not really in our children's upbringing. We've let them go trick-or-treating, but really that's about it. We don't decorate the house for it or anything like that. So yeah, Christmas is definitely my happy holiday. I do love it. And then I've been asked I've been asked by Tess whether I have any traditions, baking Christmas cookies, all that sort of stuff. Sorry Tess, but the answer's short. I don't tend to cook. I am not the cooker in our family. That is more my husband. I'm not particularly fond of cooking. I don't mind baking. I used to do a little bit of baking as a child with my nan. I don't tend to do it much more now. I'd sort of, when the children were younger, I used to have the odd time when I'd do a bit of baking with them, but to be honest, they do it themselves now. There's a couple, two of my daughters like to bake, and they just tend to do it themselves. They don't need mummy's help anymore, so they just get on with it. But yeah, I'm not a cooker. I'm not a cooker or a baker. So sorry, that's the short answer in regards to that. However, we do still have, we have a large family. There's a large family on my husband's side, and we're quite a large family, so there are still things that have sort of become Christmas traditions. So Christmas Eve, our three girls will always go and bake mince pies with their auntie Helen. It's a Christmas Eve tradition. So they get to do their baking then. Not that they couldn't do it on their own, but yeah, they like to bake Christmas mince pies with their auntie Helen on Christmas Eve. So that's always been a tradition. And then back when my mother-in-law was with us, it used to be that quite often me and my mother-in-law would be at the house. We'd get ready for Santa. Let's put it that way. We'd get ready for Santa, and the adults would nip out to the pub, and they'd have their Christmas evening and we'd have ours, and we'd get everything ready. Now that she's no longer with us, Christmas Eve evening can vary a little bit. Sometimes it's at home, sometimes we'll nip round a family member's house. It varies. There's no set tradition for Christmas Eve evening in regards to going out or doing something. However, when we get home, so even if it had been me helping getting ready for Santa, and then me and the children coming home, and or with my husband, depending on how the evening in the pub had gone, there's then always been a tradition with my children that still happens now, is that they get to open a present, they get to open their Christmas pyjamas. So they open those and they put them on, and then I managed to get one photo of them all together. I say one. It normally ends up being one decent photo of them all together, but I take a lot of photos to get that one. There's many photos I have of the kids being goofy on Christmas Eve. But yeah, I've got quite a few years of photos of the kids in their Christmas PJs. And then they will sprinkle reindeer dust outside for the reindeers so they know where to land. That is a regular tradition in our house. They will sprinkle the reindeer dust, and then now they're a bit older, they stay up for a bit before they go to bed and still probably giggle like children. Because why not? So yeah, that's sort of our Christmas Eve tradition. And then Christmas Day. Oh, Christmas Day is a busy day in our house and always has been. So it will start with the children will wake up whenever they wake up, and they would open their Christmas stockings from Santa. So they would always have a stocking filled by Santa. They'd open that and, you know, play with anything if it was in there. It's always a size that would fit in a stocking. They'd probably have chocolate for breakfast before we all ended up getting up and going downstairs. We then have Christmas at home, where the kids would open all their presents, and then it used to be that it was quite rushed after that, so it would be very much okay, do you want to take whatever toy you want with you, let's go. And by 10 o'clock, say, we would arrive at his mum's, my mother-in-law's, and they would have Christmas all over again. Of course it's the same day, but they would go from opening presents individually at home to absolute chaos and mayhem. The whole family, or at least all of his side of the family, plus partners or husbands or wives, plus children, would all be opening presents at various times depending on who just walked in the door. Absolute madness, but loved it. So we would do that, and then we would very first we would then have Christmas dinner at my mother-in-law's. As she got older and that got harder for her to do, we then would move to my sister-in-law's, and we would have Christmas dinner there. So the whole family would have Christmas dinner there. The main difference is now my mother-in-law is no longer with us. We skip out that middle part. We still have Christmas madness. That is opening all the presents from everybody, but that tends to be at my sister-in-law's. So we have now until maybe 11 o'clock, maybe a bit after that, before we head over and do the Christmas part 2 / Christmas dinner. So that's sort of our Christmas day, and then come, say, probably 3-4 o'clock, we'd tend to just come home then, have a bit more of a calm down time. All the children would go through their presents that they've got at home. You know, they opened that morning and haven't seen since. And yeah, they get to enjoy all of that. And then Boxing Day, occasionally we would go out for Boxing Day, normally to my sister-in-law's, but quite often that would be the day at home. That would be the building day. So that would be the day that if they'd got Lego, or they've got something that, you know, took a bit of time for us to construct, apart from just the undoing all the tags on the boxes. Boxing Day is the day that we'd have, you know, all those sorts of toys out, we'd play, we'd get their toys moved into their bedrooms, you know, clear the front room a bit of all the madness. That sort of happens on Boxing Day. We've had a few things that we've done for, you know, for 1 year and not for another. We try not to, while there are a few traditional things that we tend to do, there's room for flexibility, and there are some things that we may do for a year just as a one-off. We may even do them for a couple of years and then they fade off. You know, it's all about changing and evolving. It's great to have a couple of, in my opinion anyway, it's great to have a couple of traditions, some things that sort of stay the same all the way through, you know, growing up and if need be into adult life. But I think it's nice to be able to change some of those if they're not working right or they're not enjoyed by all, and to vary it up a bit, make it a little bit different. So we have had in the last, I think last year and the year before, we have gone to a local sort of park area, or a big park that put on a Christmas light show. Excuse me. So we have gone there with family, either Christmas Eve or just before Christmas Eve, you know, in those sort of couple of days. And we've gone there on an evening and gone and seen the lights and drank hot chocolate or mulled wine, depending on what takes your fancy. So we've done that, and that's been nice. I think there was talk about doing it this year, but I don't think the dates were working with everybody and other things that they had on. So I think that's something that's been skipped this year. Like, we all enjoyed it, we all liked it, but it just wasn't working quite right. So it's just not happening this year. It doesn't mean it will never happen again. It just means that this year it's not fitting in. And you know, you can't ruin your Christmas or feel like your Christmas is ruined by something not happening because it's not working out, or trying to put too much effort, heartache, stress into trying to make it work when it's just not happening. I think then you need to let yourself off a little bit and take a step back and go, okay, is Christmas going to be ruined if this doesn't happen? No, probably not. You know, traditions, yes, they are traditions, but if something's just not working that year, realise that you can just drop it for that year and try something else. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if it goes horribly wrong, then it does. But you know not to do it again, and it gives you a story for all the years to come. So sometimes you have to make mistakes to be able to have stories to tell and to laugh about said mistakes. So that's my view anyway. So we like to keep some traditions, but we do like to change some things up again. So that's 310. So I've only got a few more colours here now. I do just need to blow my nose because I have a lovely cold for this Christmas season. So I'll just be back in a mo. Hi, I'm back. Nose is cleared, brew is made. Let's plod on. So I was trying to think of any other traditions that we may have, or maybe even just things that we do over Christmas. A lot of the time, I mean, I know it can be different for the Americans. They have Thanksgiving, which we don't celebrate over here, so we haven't sort of got that pre-Christmassy type celebration. Forgive my ignorance if I know it's for another reason, but I know it can quite often start off Christmas for Americans, as far as I'm aware. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. But yeah, what else do we tend to do over Christmas? I mean, a lot of the time, you know, we are working. We are still working full time, quite often up until Christmas Eve, and quite often throughout the middle week of Christmas as well. So life plods on as normal to a certain extent. We used to always try and do more when the children were younger, try and do more Christmassy things. But we love putting up the tree. I say we love. The boys in the household tend to not take part. You know, it tends to be myself and the girls that tend to do all the Christmas decoration and stuff, but that's fine. You know, if the boys don't tend to enjoy it, and my son when he was younger would always used to help out with the tree sort of part, and then the rest he wasn't interested in. Now it's not so much, you know, he's older, he's 18, he's not as interested. I'm not going to force him to do the Christmas decoration and the tree if he doesn't enjoy it. But we have sort of changed our tradition on the tree a little bit. So when the children were younger, we always had a fake tree. It was just always what we had. You know, it would come down out the loft quite often when the children were at school, because I tended to work evenings. I didn't work during the day when the children were at school. So quite often they would come home from school to find the tree down from the loft. I mean, I say they, not all of them, because I started working full time when my youngest went to school. But the older ones would come back home and they'd find the bare skeleton of the tree would quite often just be up, and then we'd decorate it. All the decorations would be down, and that'd be what they do when they got in from school. But we decided, what was it, 3 years ago? 3 years ago, I think. Bobby actually said, "Oh, do you fancy getting a real tree?" And I'm thinking, yes, I do. So we got a real tree, and we go to a quite local sort of farm place that does Christmas trees. I tend to get the Christmas tree that has a hint of blue. It's very spiky, very, very spiky. And the children normally name it something that begins with the letter S. So I think we had Spiky Steve, and we've had Spiky Sandra. And I think it was Spiky Cyril this year, which I know is more of a C than an S, but it's got the right sound. That's what they wanted, the right sound. And yeah, so we've actually done a real tree for the past 3 years, and I really like it. I really like having a real tree, so much that we gave our eldest daughter, who moved out, our old artificial tree. So yeah, sort of happening now. If we're going artificial, we have to buy one again. But yeah, I like the fact that we've done that. But a lot of the traditions tend to be around the close time for Christmas. Oh, and we love Christmas 24. Quite often when the girls come home for the weekend, either from their own home or from uni, we'll put Christmas 24 on and just, you know, predict the ending of the film and watch that. And we've got to watch Miracle on 34th Street is one that we definitely need to watch, and I think Elf is the other film. So we get quite a few Christmassy sort of films in. And then this year of course, me and the girls went Christmas shopping and made a whole day of it. So traditions are what you want to make them. Just trying to get my camera to zoom out a little bit because this bit's done. So thank you for my topic of conversation for today. But yeah, we've got number 9 done. Where's number 10? Oh, number 10. So we're sort of filling in a little gap now. We'll get a bit more of the guitar. We're joining. There's a bit more joining up. I think there's only really 2, which actually are day 12 and day 13 that won't join up to anything. And then we're going to really start to see the picture coming together. But there we go. That one's done. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow.